people are in that journey, so you can go back and share some of the things that you have learned. Okay, so let's go into today's journal notes, and let me share with you the first one, which is that you've got to marry somebody who is happy. So I wanted to share this note with you because I've been really thinking about this concept of how many people go into relationships and have this mentality and this ideology that when they get into a relationship, that relationship will eventually make them happy. When they find the one, then everything is going to be sorted out, then everything's going to be okay. But I don't actually just want to leave it there. I want to branch this out to a much bigger prospect and say, how many of us in life look to things that are outside of ourselves to fulfill us, to make us happy, to complete us? I mean, so many of us say, well, okay, when I get the perfect job, then I'll be happy. When I have the perfect income, when I'm making £50,000, everything is going to kind of fit into place. When I have children, then everything is going to be okay. When I get married, it's going to sort out my relationship. But 9 times out of 10, and as you will find out later on when I talk about one of the other points, when I talk about really getting honest with yourself, is if you really get honest with yourself and you start journaling and doing all the things that I've shared with you on many occasions, you will realize that actually success doesn't correlate with emotional peace, right? It is possible for somebody to be successful and be really unhappy. It is possible for somebody to be significant but not have peace. In other words, they are significant in their workplace because people rely on them and they produce value and they employ people, but actually those people are feeling suicidal, those people are feeling depressed, right? Those people have anxiety. So one of the things that I want to share with you, and I've shared with you guys on many occasions, is you have to understand that there are 2 aspects to life. The first aspect to life is what I call the A to Z. It's what's called the science of achievement. In other words, it means that the first aspect of life is saying, Kasim, I want to become an actor. Kasim, I want to become an entrepreneur. Kasim, I want to become an accountant. And the first aspect of life is figuring out how to get what you want. Right? Now, the general rule that I have found about getting what you want is as long as you can find somebody who's got what you want or something similar, if you take the same steps that they took to get it, you will there or thereabouts get the same kind of results, right? Now, it might take you longer, you may have to take a different route, you might have to get more assistance than they did, but essentially, if you follow the same kinds of steps, you will get the same kinds of results. The second aspect of life is what I call the art of living. The art of living is essentially, let me put it like this for you. So, Oprah once said that so much of getting what we want in life is about living in the space of what we don't have. And what Oprah meant by that is, if you actually look at life, most of life, if you look at, let's say you live from 0 to 100 years, most of the time that you're going to spend between 0 and 100 is going to be spent trying to achieve stuff. There's going to be moments which will probably equate to maybe 1%, which is when you've got the job, you're getting married, you are having children, right? The birth of your child is literally there. You've managed to eventually persuade your parents and get them to forgive you, right? But most of the journey is going to be getting there, and how you manage that journey and the experience that you have in that journey is really what makes up most of life. I was saying to somebody, and I think I actually said it in a journal entry last week, where I was saying there are so many people who are saying, well, Kasim, when the virus is over, when Corona, when we come out of the lockdown, then everything is going to be okay. Then my mental health is going to be great. Then my health is going to be great. The truth of the matter is, it makes no difference, right? What difference is it really going to make to your emotional state if we come out of the lockdown, right? Now, obviously, I get it. There is restraints and of course, you're not able to go out as much as you can. But the reality is, If you can't even manage your mental health now, and you need to have specific conditions which are outside of your control, right? Because the COVID and the whole shutdown, none of us can control, right? So if you have to have all of these things which are outside of yourself in order for you to have peace, in order for you to have fulfillment in your life, you're always going to have a major problem on your hands. And what I have found is that so many of us in life don't understand that in that gap of trying to get what we want, we have to figure out what it is that gives us peace, what it is that gives us fulfillment. If you don't figure that out, and you're going to have some massive problems on your hands. In fact, this is part of the reason why I started journal entries in the first place. I started journal entries in the first place because I kept meeting really good guys who basically were on the path to getting what they want, but they were always unhappy, but they were depressed, but they were angry. And I was like, why do people keep doing this? And what I found was the reason why they keep doing that is because they're pursuing things that don't have any meaning to them, that don't have utility to them. People were trying to get married because it's what was expected of them, not what they actually wanted from their life. People became accountants not because that was their destiny, but because that would get them the biggest amount of money, which in turn would allow them to have a car, which in turn would allow them to show off to people, right? So that they can go on all of these lavish holidays. But it wasn't really about fulfilling them. And part of the reason why I started journal entries is that I wanted to inspire you and encourage you to figure out, actually, are the things that you're going after in your life the things that you genuinely want to go after? Do they have any utility to you? Do they mean anything? When you get that sort of 1%, when you get to that 1% where you've spent 99% of the time working to get something and you get it, is it actually going to mean anything to you? And I was thinking about this because, as I say, so many people think when they get into a relationship, then that person is going to fulfill them. But the reality of life is, if you get into a relationship with somebody who is not already happy, who's not already content with who they are, you can never change them. You can never change them. We cannot change people. Only people can change themselves. Right? And let me reverse this and put it into your perspective. If you yourself are not happy with who you are, if you yourself are not fulfilled with who you are not content, you haven't gone and spoken to a counselor, spoken to a therapist, done the journaling, done the emotional reflection, gone back and done the reframing and the deframing, which again, you will know if you've done the work. Unless you've done that work, what will happen is you're going to become a burden to the person who you're going to get into a relationship with, because you're going to carry all of the baggage with you and then you're just going to take them to the new relationship, right? So what I would encourage you to do is change, improve, refine aspects of who you need to do. Do the work that is required so that you can live the most remarkable life which is available to you if you want it. Right? You can live the most remarkable life. You can do the most remarkable things. You can become the most remarkable person if you do the work. Most people won't do the work, but if you do the work, all of the abundance and all of the magic of life is available to you. So that's the